Good morning, everybody. Well, we have had some issues with chocolate cupcakes, believe it or not. You would think chocolate cupcakes would be the easiest thing to make. Folks, they're not. One mix-up with this recipe, they will either sink like the Titanic or fall apart in your fingers the minute you lift them up. You want to have a good, firm chocolate cupcake when you eat them. So we're going to redo the chocolate cupcakes, and I'm hoping that we follow the recipe to the T. It should come out. Now, the last time I made these chocolate cupcakes, somehow I add the sugar into the egg before the butter. No. Make sure, folks, you add in 3 tablespoons of unsalted softened butter, and then you add in the sugar with the butter. You cream the butter together, and then you add the eggs. 1 and 1/2 cups of sugar. It's really amazing what can happen with a simple recipe. Now, folks, one more thing. A cupcake is not a cake. It's a cupcake. It got its name for a reason. They're miniature cakes, yes. Right, we're going to cream this. Alright, let me show you what it looks like creamed. There's a lot of chunky butter in here. Just get this softened with my fingers. Here we go. You want to make sure, folks, no matter what, the butter is creamed in with the sugar. It's very important. Here we go. Okay, next step is I want to add in 2 eggs. Be careful of your eggshells because sometimes they can sneak into the batter. Add 1 egg at a time. Alright, I'm going in for the next egg now. Let me get rid of these eggshells. Yeah, because I want to make chocolate cupcakes next week for Easter Sunday, folks, and they have to, I want them perfect, obviously. Here we go. 2 eggs. Mix this together, then we go to the vanilla. Okay, I want to try to show you what the batter looks like. I'm going to grab this, my camera is a little under the weather today. Here we go. You want the batter to be very smooth, folks. Now I'm going to add in my vanilla. I'm adding in 1 and 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Then we're going to go to the dry. Folks, it's like anything else. You make one deviation on that recipe, folks, it's not going to come out, folks. You know that. 1 and 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. You want to make sure it has that tangy taste. Got to find that teaspoon. Now, where did I put that teaspoon? Here we go. I can't find the 1/2 teaspoon. Isn't that funny? Here we go. Folks, I can't believe it's going to be the first day of spring tomorrow. I'm really happy, you know. All right, we want to get the wet taken care of before we go to the dry. Now, folks, there's no guarantee that this is even going to come out. We hope it comes out. We have a new recipe now. Let's mix everything together, and I'm going to keep mixing in a minute. Here we go. Let's cream this for about another minute. Okay, we're going to move this aside, folks, and I'm going to the next thing. The next thing is going to be the dry. It's very important to add in the dry. I'm now adding in 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. It's very important. Because you want to make sure, folks, when you do a cupcake, you want to make sure the cupcakes come out perfect. You don't want to have anything that's going to sink like the Titanic. Okay, folks, I almost made a blunder just now. I almost grabbed 1/3 cup. That would definitely not come out. 1. I just got to find that 1/3 cup. I have it here someplace. Here it is. And 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. And I'm sorry that my camera is under the weather. It happens. Amber was a very naughty girl last night, folks. Very naughty little kitty cat. She didn't want to go to sleep last night. All right, let's unplug this. We're done mixing. At this point, we don't need to mix. We're going to start mixing everything together. Now, the next thing is the soda, baking soda. Make sure your soda at all times is fresh, folks, because you don't have fresh baking soda. And also, folks, make sure your spoons are clean. Because when you go into the baking soda, you don't want to accidentally mix something together with the baking soda. All right, I'm going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Here we go. I'm now adding in my baking powder. I'm grabbing my teaspoon and I'm adding in my baking powder. It's very odd, but this is what it's calling for, and let's just hope this comes out, folks. I can't promise. Here we go. 1 teaspoon. Now, the cocoa. It has to be exactly right, folks. I'm going to put this away so I don't accidentally make a blunder. Cocoa. I use Hershey's cocoa. My grandmother swore by it as well. This is what I use. Now I'm adding in 3/4 cup. Now if you don't have a 3/4 cup, you can always grab 1/3 cup and do it 3 times. It will be the same thing. Here we go. Beautiful. Now to put the vanilla away. See, we put everything away. My grandmother used to do that when she was baking. All right. Now I just have to grab my magical whisk and cover up my cocoa, because we just got this cocoa and it's very fresh. Okay. Mix this together. Really mix. Mix everything up from the bottom. There's nothing left on the bottom. Everything is mixed together, the powder, the cocoa, and the flour. Now, also, folks, you're going to need a cup of milk, a whole milk. Make sure, folks, you use whole milk. Because when your cupcakes fall apart in your fingers, or they just, for some odd reason, they sink, there's a reason. So we've got to find out what the reason. Make sure, folks, you add in all the dry. Then we're going to add in the milk. Start mixing this together, and then I'm going to go to the milk. Here we go. Mix with a spoon and mix, mix, mix. Until you see no more powder left. You want everything mixed together. Now, folks, this is all powder. You really don't want to see that. Keep mixing. A lot of arm movement, like Grandma Elizabeth used to call it. Like I said, cupcakes are different than cakes. For example, you can't put a cake recipe into cupcakes and make them into cupcakes. It doesn't always work. But I learned one thing. If you make a mistake with a recipe, you have to keep trying, folks, because you want to conquer that recipe. Because a lot of times I need my chocolate cupcakes like for holidays. And this is much better. It's nice and smooth. You want it very smooth batter. Mix, mix, mix. Arm movement. Make sure there's not a sign of butter in here either. Perfect. Now, also you want to avoid a mess. I'm grabbing my, I got a little bit of mess here. Let me clean it up before Grandma Elizabeth yells at me from heaven. All right. Now, I recommend, folks, use an ice cream scoop. And, folks, please keep your ice cream scoop clean, because it's the same thing. You get something into that batter, it can be a problem. Okay. Here we go. Use an ice cream scooper. There'll be a little bit of mess, but not as bad. Now, folks, don't put it up to the top. About halfway, if that hard, because it's going to rise, and you can have a real mess. Oh, we got a little mess here. We're going to have to take care of that in a minute. Always use an ice cream scooper, folks. It comes out a lot better. There we go. You don't want to go too high with this because these rise and it can be a real mess. Cupcakes, folks, are not muffins. They're different. Oh, it smells delicious, folks. I hope this comes out perfect. I really do. 1 scoop of ice cream. Batter. Why did I say ice cream for? I must be thinking about ice cream, folks. I don't know why. That's weird. Okay. Because I'm talking about an ice cream scooper. Okay. Here we go. Now, I'm going to put the batter here because we have a lot more batter to go by. Now what I want to do now is make sure that it's cleaned off here because we don't want to have anything that's going to stick when I have to get them out later. Okay. We're going to put this in the oven and bake this for about 15 minutes. I want to leave the temperature about 350.